It's my lifestyle. It's my lifestyle.
And then you have somebody turning down $350 million over 13 years in Juan Soto.
Yes, he did.
Why do you think Juan did that?
Because Juan Soto is going to get $500 million.
He's going to get $500 million, as said first on this podcast.
Absolutely.
Podcast episode question mark.
If you can figure it out, we will give you a big prize.
If you find what episode we said that he's going to get $500 million,
because we said it on several,
you get a free T-shirt.
We will send you a T-shirt. Dennis will send you whatever you want.
Not whatever you
just
want.
Comment.
Just
No, whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Just comment in the section what episode it was and what was the timestamp we said it was. Yes, he's going to get $500 million, but this also to me reeks of I don't want to be a national.
Oh yeah, I mean that's exactly what that is because
right?
you're about to get the biggest contract.
Yeah,
that in this offseason anyway.
Yeah.
And not only did he rightfully turn it down because he is worth more than that.
He's a $50 million player.
Yeah. Yep. But also, it's like I'm not going to do this because I don't want to be here. He wants to be he wants to be a star.
So not only does he want to be a star, he
wants to be a big city star.
He is maneuvering himself to get to a place. Do you think when this lockout ends, do you think he demands a trade?
No.
That would be so spicy.
That would be crazy.
I think, like, at this point in time, he was very publicly at the World Series.
Oh, yeah.
He was very much trying to show him out in the world. He was with his agents. He's doing all this stuff to get there. This now comes out. Who do you guys think put this out?
Juan Soto's party.
Got to be Juan Soto's party.
Well, he did. Someone asked him, and he could have just said no comment, but he didn't.
And he said, I just turned down 13 years, $350. So he pretty much just said, I just told them I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
So now publicly everyone knows he doesn't want to be a national.
I mean, well, let me ask you this: Is $350 the most the Nationals could spend on him?
Yes,
has to be, right?
Because we all agree they're broke, right?
They're broke, and they're saying, okay, cool. This offseason, this is everything we can throw at him.
Because they got rid of Turner, they got rid of Scherzer, they did all of that so that they had enough money to pitch this deal to him because they hoped that $30-something million a year, like the Bryce Harper deal, would be enough. And he's like, guys, I'm better than Bryce ever was.
He's like, that's not even Mike Trout money.
Show me the money. I want at least $40 million a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, my question to you guys would be, do you think it's worth it for a team at this point to trade whatever the haul is going to be to get him now rather than wait the 2 years until he's a free agent and can sign elsewhere? Because the Rangers did this a few years ago, getting Adam Fox for two second-round picks when they were going to get him for free the next year if they wanted to.
We've
worth it.
We've discussed on this show the Mike Trout haul.
Yeah. But we actually talked about the Juan Soto haul.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's...
I think the Mets have enough pieces to go and make the move. The biggest question is, if you do the trade, you're going to pretty much sign him to a 10-year, $500 million deal.
Yes.
And pay him $50 million a year.
The Mets have all the replacement parts the Nationals need. They have an outfielder.
The Mets have all of the parts any team in the league needs. The Mets have too many good players, not enough elite players, and they can't hit in the clutch.
Oh, I'm talking purely from a prospect standpoint.
Yeah, so prospect away, but they're going to want, if you're going to get Juan Soto, the Mets have to clear space. Because they just signed Kana, right?
Yep.
And he plays the same position as Soto.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's this season.
If Soto says I want to go.
Shock me, please.
If Soto says I want to go. Like him saying 350 was not enough. He has now said to the world, no, that you have to give me more than this. That $350 million will not be enough to secure my services. So you've now ixnayed out how many teams in the league?
25.
So you've pretty much said, so Dodgers, Padres?
I'm going to say Dodgers, Padres, Mets, Yankees, Red Sox?
Okay.
I don't think the Red Sox have the money anymore.
Again,
sure.
Whatever you want. They're a team that could have spent it.
They could have paid Mookie. They didn't.
Houston Astros, but they've got Alvarez.
Yes, and they
They're
also
done.
weren't going to pay Correa that.
So now we get spicy. So we say that there's only 5 real teams who have the money and the funds to pull that trigger and do more than 350, right? And I think anybody in the league could find it because the Angels gave Trout that bag, right? The Phillies gave a bag that size. So there are. I think there are teams that we know that would potentially.
I guess I'm looking at it as like those teams already spent their big chip kind of thing,
and who would just be willing to do everything in their power.
Right.
The Yankees are out.
Yeah, I think
because the Yankees can't.
Yankees also have to get Aaron Judge.
The Yankees can't get another outfielder.
Yeah,
so they're done.
Yeah.
So that's out of
unless they move on from Aaron Judge and go to Juan Soto.
Which again, they had their opportunity to get Berrios, who's the most underrated pitcher, and only signed for $115 million for 5 years. Would have been the second or best pitcher on their staff, and they could have had him for what would have amounted to Aaron Judge. But that's besides the point. That trade was designed by me and would have been amazing. So that brings us back. So that brings us to the Dodgers. Do the Dodgers have the money to do it?
Yeah.
But do they really? They got money tied up in their outfield, don't they?
Not a ton of money. They haven't. They didn't pay Seager. They haven't paid Trey Turner yet.
Kemp?
Not there anymore.
Don't they still have money that they owe for his contract?
It's not like sizable money. Like
okay.
they're not they spend a lot of money, but it's not like.
But I thought they were still paying a fair amount of money to that contract.
I'm not sure, but in the scheme of like players that get over $30 million a year, I don't think they have many of those.
Okay.
So, like they could figure something out. The Mets obviously have quite a bit of money tied up in some guys right now, but we also have, if we wanted to, endless money. Mookie's probably their biggest piece, yeah. But he's also, right fielder.
But that's what I'm saying. So that to me takes all of that money.
Maybe they just paid Pollock some more, maybe?
Yeah, Betts is getting $22.5, but with his luxury tax, it's a $30.5 million deal. Justin Turner makes $20. Trey Turner makes $18.5, but he's only got 1 year left.
In arbitration? Is he in arbitration?
Yeah.
Okay.
They have Cody Bellinger, who's also in arbitration, is going to get a whole bunch of money, so they're going to have to pay him. So I don't think,
or they cut him.
Do you think they cut?
He's been playing terrible.
But do you think they cut him?
No,
I don't
honestly,
think they cut him.
But like, I'm thinking in terms of if they were trying to go get Soto, what would the moves they would have to be?
What about the other Los Angeles team? And my curiosity is there a world where you can do a Mike Trout for Juan Soto type trade?
No.
That would be so gross.
No.
Now you're just getting crazy, Dennis.
I like getting crazy.
I know.
Bellinger's an interesting case because I don't know what happened to him.
He played very bad last season.
Yeah, but
his fall off after his 2 years ago,
2019.
Yeah, has been dramatic.
No, I mean, listen, that year seems the most like the outlier.
Well, he batted 170 last year, right?
He batted 165.
Yeah, that's not good.
But yeah, I mean, you look at his first 2 years in the league, he was 260s. Mm-hmm. He's a career 257 hitter. The 2019 year seems like the outlier where he batted 305.
He's also been hurt a lot.
That's my question.
Yeah.
Something last year was wrong with him that hasn't fully come out. So let's go separate from that. The Dodgers could theoretically do it, but the Dodgers would have to do a whole bunch of finagling now to get themselves to that point, right? So you really come down to the last people. He wants the Mets.
The Mets are basically, just on this conversation, are probably the only viable option.
And the Mets signed Kana for 2 years to go after him.
And what's Scherzer, 3 years?
2 years.
2 years?
2 years.
Cool.
The Mets, how many years left does Cano have?
2.
Yeah.
The Mets are set up for 2 years from now to go wild. So who and what and where and why and when and how are they lining up for? That's the big question to me. And it points to me of this money getting turned down, him making all the comments about wanting to be in New York, and the Big Apple and there not being any place like it. Mm-hmm. the fact that Lindor's there and has shown that he pulls in the Spanish player, right? Correa's contemplated it. Javi actually came.
Yep.
Right? The Mets organization from that side, like, has moved in that direction. You're going to have Francisco Alvarez coming up soon. The where you are in Queens and what that is for Puerto Rican culture, Dominican culture, like that world. Juan Soto's coming to the Mets. It feels like. But this also feels like when it felt like LeBron was coming to the Knicks and then said he was going to come to the Knicks and then had a last-second change of heart and went to Miami.
And didn't KD say he was coming to the Knicks
No.
too? No, that was just...
No. KD was going to come, and then they said they didn't want to pay him all that money. Which has made sense.
Sure.
Everything that the Nets did didn't work out.
Yeah.
They haven't won. They're not winning this year. They beat the Knicks last night in a horrible
Traded
beat.
for Harden and
And then had to get rid of Harden.
they're running Ben Simmons.
Kyrie can't play because he's still on the flat earth. Like, everything is, and that should have, like, it is what it is. So, like, when I look at it, I think Soto, so the question is, if Soto demands the trade, how many people are positioned right now to just pull the trigger and do it? Not many.
Well, okay. Well, here's a question: is there a team that's in win now mode but doesn't want to pay him the money, so they just trade for him for 2 years?
I don't think that there's any team that could give them what they want and make it worth it for 2 years.
Right.
Like, he would want to go somewhere that gives him the bag.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And, like, to me, the Mets would look at him and be like, cool, we're going to sign you. We'll buy out your other years.
And we're going to sign
and
you
we'll
forever.
sign you for 10 years, $500 million. Or 10 years, $460 million. Still the biggest contract in history.
How old is he?
24.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Because it doesn't need to be 13 years. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'd rather just pay you more money every year. Yeah, we're luxury tax. Don't care. 2 years from now, Mets are out of luxury tax. Kana's gone.
He's only 23. He just turned 23 in October.
Dope. Even better.
Pull the trigger.
Dope.
Pull the trigger. Pull it.
I'm so glad that came out too. It made me feel like so much better about the conversation we've had about that because we're so right.
Yep.
So right. Well, whenever baseball returns,
we'll have things to actually talk about.
Yeah. It's good. Honestly, should they get this figured out in a reasonable amount of time?
No shot.
Super unlikely. But whenever it does come back, the whole, now that I think about it, I don't even know if the free agency thing will be crazy because I have no idea when they're coming back.
Yep.
I have no idea what the free agency world's going to look like when that happens. Because if they delay this till, God forbid, like July, are people just going to sign super safe deals and then just be like, all right, cool, I'll be a free agent?
Everybody's going to sign 1 year
Right,
deals.
it's going to be...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then coming out of it. But here's the thing, right? All of the deals that were signed before this, the first year of the deal would just then be a prorated portion of the deal. But it would still count as a year.
Yep.
So the Kana deal that's a 2-year deal would be 1 year with most
Robbie
of it
Cano
gone.
Robbie
Cano, you'd have a percentage of your deal gone.
Down.
Right?
Yep.
You'd have 1 year left. The Mets are buying him out next year.
Please do it. Need it.
Unless he hits like a god again in the shortened year that they're about to have.
Yeah. When do you think over under for when we start?
Oh, geez, Louise. Now that there's like venom getting thrown and they're both going to start looking ugly soon.
They're playing chicken, yeah.
They're both going to get to the point that they get so much negative about them. What's the next pro league that has like a thing coming up?
So my initial thought was, do they play before the end of the NBA and NHL season?
When does that season end?
June-ish?
Yeah.
But that's including the playoffs.
Yes.
Right.
That's
So you're
playoffs
saying-
are done. I'm saying, is there going to be a break
The
in
end of
between,
Stanley
like,
Cup goes forever, right?
Right, but is there going to be a break between the end of Stanley Cup and NBA Finals to the start of training camp?
I'm
going
gonna
to
say a deal. I'm going to say a deal is completed sometime around May 1.
Because that's a huge time for the MLB. Is there's all eyes on them for the most part.
When do we
'cause
start
no
in
other
2020?
sports.
In June or July.
June, July? Okay. So
Because they played July.
we're playing
August.
an 80-game season? 82
Yeah,
game
we
season?
talked about it. I think half. I think they end up with half this year.
I hate that so much, but great. Cool. We'll see. So May 1?
Our arms are going to do great in the shortened season.
Facts. Bro, we are getting rings this year, baby.
Scherzer only gets $20 million of his
Excellent.
46.
Excellent.
Baseball lifestyle, it's my lifestyle.